Okay. While we're waiting, those that left the room, opportunity for more cookies.
Good cookies, man. A really good, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 30 minutes in. We're only at 2.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, it's really slow. It's down the upstairs. It's the rescue deal, today.
What's that?
Good to go.
So good to go?
Yep.
All right, I'll entertain motions. Authorized hire from Sarah, a second from Bernard. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion's carried. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Board. And we're okay for a July 29th start date. We'll have okay. Thank you all. Have a good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Linda.
Let's see.
I need another place.
Here, we'll go right to the ERP programs. Recreation and warming.
Okay. So as you know, we're updating our departments to Encode, or it's now ERP Pro. And Recreation had a live demo with our sales rep, and they provided this quote to update or move over to Encode. So it's a one-time fee of $16,830, and then the annual fee of $4,630. And this would move Recreation onto ERP Pro so that all of our departments are on it now, and we can start the centralized cash collection. So looking for authorization to sign this contract. And then also with the meter upgrades for water, because of, I guess they're smart, we need an interface, meter reader interface, so that cost is a one-time fee of $1,410 and an annual fee of $1,900.
What was the annual fee, Karen?
For the meter reader, annual is $1,900.
The only thing I'll add is thank you. We've been trying to do this for a long, long time. It's finally coming together. It saves way more money than it costs us because it eliminates duplication of efforts and redundancy in data entry.
So tell me about Parks and Recs, how would they use it?
So it's similar to the rec desk. It's gonna be with just ERP Pro. You know, every resident or user will create an account and they sign on and they register for programs. And then once they're registered, they'll go to Angela's office, town clerk's office, and be there.
You still have to come in and pay, or they can pay?
They can pay online, yeah.
Yes.
There's no need to transfer our rec desk account to ERP Pro.
So there's some pros and cons to that, when you can convert the information to like the programs and stuff. But you kind of would probably want to start fresh with people because there's probably a lot of people in rec desk that you aren't users anymore, so you're just bringing over data. But they are able to do that. It just really depends. I personally prefer, like when we did for the financial side, I entered all of the new vendors because like you have a lot of vendors that just aren't using anymore, so start fresh, but they do have to too. Okay.
Is it pretty seamless in terms of being able to create a new account? I was
Yes,
thinking of-
yes, we just did it with water.
So tell me about water. How would that change water?
This is just so that they're, I'm not an IT person, it's just some little program that we have to install so that Rocky's meters can interact with Encode. Yeah,
Interactive billing once we upgrade.
once we upgrade, so like his meters are gonna be smart readers, and so it'll just,
Able to talk.
information will get from that meter to
You
the.
don't have to answer anything.
system. Yeah.
It'll be changed, don't, meter to be changed.
Oh, yeah, when we do the meter program, yes, that's what we've been talking.
Yeah,
But on the paperwork side, how is this gonna help on the paperwork side in the office?
well, I think it's more of, you guys don't have to drive around. and Read meters,
The meters, yeah, we will.
You still have to drive around.
yeah,
No,
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 No.
when we do the new meters, they'll be read.
through satellite?
Yeah,
Good.
antennas, yeah, on our water tanks and our cell sites, yeah.
It's like National Grid. Have you seen
It will eliminate
Smart meters.
guys driving around doing readings.
Smart meters. are pretty cool.
You'll have up to
And it's like-
date.
And they can check out, no, yeah, really.
And the labor savings on these purchases is significant on an annual basis, but the long term. Think about the labor cost of driving around and collecting the meters. Think about over the years, the labor cost between the different departments, the rec department and comptroller's office, and all of this is centralized and communicated in the computer system. You're eliminating the redundancy, you're eliminating opportunities for manipulation of the system. So from the state audit standpoint, now there's checks and balances on the system. There's a unified collection of funds. So that now the bill is set in the rec department, or the bill is set in the planning and zoning department. The comptroller's office has access to all that, but then the actual collections of funds occur in the clerk's office. So there's a minimum of three parties looking at the same set of numbers. There's no opportunity for anybody to get in there and say, oh, I just collected a permit fee. I can organize the system so at the entry level, so that nobody sees that money and they happen to pay in cash. Those things are now eliminated. On top of the labor savings and the efficiency. And it's just a smart move. It's something that we've been trying to do for decades again. And we think it's finally on us.
So what other
Finally here.
departments need to be brought onto the system now?
So. I would say town clerk, there's some limitations to the town clerk, the marriage license and, I don't know if the dog license is necessarily wrong, it's just the reports aren't the same.
Yeah,
So
the marriage license is
the marriage license is the big one. They just aren't able to print or adjust if like her template changes. I mean, they probably could, it's just they probably.
Is your office need to be brought on?
My office is already on.
Already on? Okay, and what about Alana's team? Do they need to be brought on?
They're in the process.
They're in the process. Okay. So it looks like today, the 16,000 is at the one-time fee?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at shy of 18,000 one-time fees and then recurring annually 6,000 for these two programs. Okay.
Why is the Parks and Rec fee so high? With that fee?
Because they're building software, all our stuff in that, so it's. Building our program. They're basically.
Okay, any further discussion?
No, it's okay. I get.
Can I ask a
Counselor Dueling,
assistant?
two.
I only know this from running a household budget. If the budget is set, how can you then spend money that's not in the budget. You've just hired another person and now you've got these very expensive things.
Most of these things were budgeted.
Budget.
They were budgeted? Okay, fine. You answered the question. Thank you.
And it may not even happen till 2025, just wait, so,
Oh, okay. Okay. Then they can be put in the budget.
well, I already put it in the budget, but it can be put in the budget, yeah.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion from Joe for the Parks and Rec. Second from Bernard. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. I'll entertain a motion from Joe and a second from Bernard for the
Water. Water meter.
I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. Okay, Matt.
Yes. Oh,
Thank you, Sherry.
Development permits first.
yeah, I put development permits on specifically at the request of Max.
Oh,
Max is absent, so I don't want to get into it without Max having his input. All I changed was based on recommendation from Derek to allow sheds that are less than 144 square feet to be exempt from permitting.
that's the New York State.
That's what New York State does, and we have to actively do it in our code, so that's the only change I'm suggesting. I talked to Max and he said, well, I want to be there for this. I don't even know what he wants to add, but
Okay,
said, okay, we'll put it on for the 22nd, and obviously he's had some travel.
Yeah.
Things going on.
we can defer it.
Parking, I didn't put parking on here. I don't know if, was Gary maybe?
Oh, no,
Yeah, well,
I thought you threw it on there, Matt, after we.
you had deferred it a couple meetings ago. Cause I wanted to talk about the parking. Yep,
I have a draft of a parking code that I'm looking at from May 30th. And this incorporates everything that we talked about
yeah,
privately. And the only question remains on the release of the reserve parking that we had talked about. And so I think that has to go to the ZBA for a variance ultimately. And so Jamie and I have talked about it. And I just have to make one more little change to this, and I can send it to the board just to schedule if
sure,
that's okay. You can
yeah,
do it. It's somewhat of a longer law, so you guys can take a look and
Yeah.
We can schedule it on August 12th. That's a few weeks away.
yeah, this is a reoccurring theme, and we don't need to spend any more time on it, but I continually get barrage. I got a call from Pam Hunter just this week over the developmental project that is occurring in the town, on top of all the other ones that we've had that say they don't need any additional parking in there. They went to Pam's office over our code. And so I believe this is a temporary bridge to help solve some of these developmental issues while the department has time to go back and revisit parking, which is very complicated. I do think we all kind of agree, the department, the board, certainly the development community, that our parking requirements are too stringent, require too many parking spaces.
It's hard to do it one size fits all. You know, we
Right.
do it by zone. I think the best we can. At some point, we determined that these were reasonable ranges for parking. It's just not all gonna fit because every business is different.
Right.
So I think, and Alana and I were talking, and she just feels that it's, not to speak for Alana, but we feel that, that's we don't want to make changes to that and then have it be worse than it is now if we don't do our proper research. So
Right.
I think if we can make those changes that we want in the short term that are gonna help you guys with the developers, we can make other changes. To the zone specific.
I mean, these,
I just don't know how to even go about that. We have to do some sort of
I
research.
know, I mean, our parking requirements go way back in the past 20 years, technology. As well as when COVID hit, it has really changed public behavior on parking.
For instance, I mean,
Office, retail, even warehouse. So, and like you said, we need to go through every one of them and
our code says McDonald's on Thompson Road needs 76 parking spaces. And there's just no way that a McDonald's needs 76 spaces, but it's just, there's gonna be all kinds of outliers.
Handles everything.
Most of their business is drive-through.
Right.
That's right.
Right, But they want to cut that in half, and it's reasonable, you know, and even 38 is a lot of spots for
New
McDonald's.
habits. It's just we need to update it. And, you know, the less area that we pave, the better.
Okay, so that,
I'll put it on, I'll just send an email to the board with this draft.
Okay.
Need 10 drug your house.
okay, schedule a public hearing for the local office of chief of police and.
This was meant to be for today, but we have some further changes to make and to discuss in executive session today. I would ask for the board and with Sarah's blessing to do this on August 12th will be our
Yeah.
next meeting, 3
I
weeks.
think we need to.
Just need a little more time.
Okay. Angela, retirement reporting?
Yep, I've included in the packet, the retirement reporting. That has to be posted and then sent to the state. With everyone's standard work days. So that just needs to be approved.
So we need a motion to schedule a public hearing.
No, you just have to, you're just accepting the resolution that's in the packet and then I post it.
We're on two different items right now. I
We're
think.
still on 7 and just.
Oh, I asked Angela about the retirement. report.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm only talking about 7 for the schedule of the public hearing for the local law. There has to actually be a motion.
Oh,
to
okay.
Schedule it for that date.
All right, I thought you were coming
Sorry,
back.
Angela.
I thought you were coming back to schedule and I jumped down
No,
the agenda. Okay,
something get lost.
so we're back up at number 7. Right. We need to schedule, what date would you like to schedule that?
August 12th, Monday.
That's a morning one, right?
Yeah.
8:05.
Okay, I entertain a motion from Sarah, to schedule the public hearing for the local law of the Office of Chief of Police and Public Safety for August 12th at 8:05. I have a second from Jack. Call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. Okay, now we can jump down to retirement reporting standard work day. Angela says she just needs the resolution, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There is the resolution. You will fill in the individuals.
Everyone that I've received, yes.
I see it's on there, okay.
Yeah, I did not put registration numbers on social security for privacy, obviously, but.
Any discussion? All righty, I'll call for a vote. Entertain a motion. Carrie, a second from Sarah. Call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained, motion's carried. Okay, town board minutes, July 8th,
Make a motion. 7.
motion from Carrie, a second. Bernard, any further discussion? I'll call for the vote, all in favor? Opposed? I'm gonna abstain.
You're gonna abstain.
I'm gonna abstain.
Are you here?
Max was out.
Jack's got to abstain.
Jack has.
I gotta abstain. Wasn't here.
So there's still 4. You do have a quorum
Jack
to
Mattson,
pass.
yes.
Yeah. You have Sarah, Joe, Carrie, and Bernard.
Yeah.
So I'll call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Jack and I abstain. Motion's carried. Okay, the check register. Any questions, comments? Okay, I have a motion from Carrie. A second from Bernard. Call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried. Any town board updates? Yes, Bernard.
Springfield Gardens having a meeting Thursday. They reached out to me to let me know about that, and that Pam Hunter is going to be there to talk about this governmental, matters of tax credits that the owner is looking for and all this stuff. So it's Thursday at 6.
Great. Okay. Any other updates? And Sharon sent out an email, right? Was it yesterday on that? Yeah. Okay, Keisha. You talked to Angela, you wanted to talk to the board?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm talking there, oh,
Sure.
right there.
Whatever you're comfortable.
Hello, how you doing? So it was, hello, my name is Onondaga County Legislative Nigecia Hernandez. Many of you know me, I know many of you, a couple of you I don't. I said I wanted to set up a meeting with you just to speak about your needs and what I should be on the lookout for at the county level. As you know, we're starting to get into our budget season. So I wanted to make sure that I had, you know, the time to work with me at my meetings to make sure I advocate for what the county doing. Yeah, so that's what it really was more about, not really to address you as a board as a whole, but to more sit down with you and speak with you and introduce myself to you on the county level, because many of you know me as a community leader, but you might not know me as a county legislator, and tell you some of the committees I sit on, like public safety, aging for the county facilities. So, yeah, so more of a meeting, so if you had time after this, once you adjourn, to sit down and just have a conversation.
We welcome that. Thank you. Appreciate you coming. You know, I wanted to communicate back to you in front of the board, one of the ongoing conversations that we're having with the county, and it's being led right now by Council Mannion, is in communications over Carrier Park. We're looking to enter into phase 3 of Carrier Park project centered around the inclusiveness of the challenged community. It's the home of the Syracuse Challenger baseball program. We also want it to be a place for veterans and warriors and other groups as well. And so there's that ongoing conversation with the county. You know, we have continuing highway drainage related issues that we'll try to keep you apprised of. One of the difficulties in the town of DeWitt is the county divided DeWitt into 4 legislative districts. I know I've always struggled with trying to keep open lines of communications with our county representatives because there's 4 of them.
Tell me about it. So I find myself in other districts often because I'm trying to, you know, advocate for the town of DeWitt, and those lines are drawn so close together. So I always find myself in other districts, but I tell them all the time, as long as we advocate together, then we can take care of the town of DeWitt as a whole. I'm very familiar with the Challengers. I went to their opening day event at Carrier Circle. I have a couple of friends, I don't know if you know that. I used to be a special education teacher for many years, so I know many of those students. And it was just nice just to reconnect with them and see them. I also know the town of DeWitt isn't shy to housing needs. And I know you've been advocating for Springfield Gardens as well, so I would also like to talk about how we can handle those housing needs. There are a lot of apartments behind Springfield Gardens that we all forget about. What's difficult is some of them sit in Syracuse and some might sit in DeWitt, depending on what apartment building you live in, as you know. But there is a housing crisis too, and a lot going on. So yes, let's definitely have a conversation. And thank you for letting me have this.
May I ask?
Yes.
I know you and I spoke, and perhaps your sharing in this setting will also give further elucidate into the matter of the monies collected for cannabis. We met with
White
Harding,
Expo, yes.
and has he been able to provide you any additional information on where the monies are and what we need to do to make requests and or to utilize those funds?
So I've been speaking with Nancy Lowry. He's kind of our liaison to the county executive. And I've also emailed Tim Burgess, our majority chair, about the situation. Not any more information that you told us about how much we feel and how it's sitting in the general fund not being utilized. I was thinking more of once me and you sat down and you came up with something you wanted to utilize it for, then let's put it through and get it on
the agenda and see if we can pull money from there. I think we should also sit down and speak with the county executive. Because like, you know, we have the money, the city also has this money, it's the cannabis tax money. So they've been collecting taxes from the cannabis stores and retails in the county and the city and dividing it up, and a certain amount sits in the general fund. It's just been sitting there unutilized. Intentionally, it was supposed to be utilized to help those who were, you know, affected by the cannabis laws and uplift impoverished neighborhoods and impoverished people. And it's just sitting there. So let's get a project that we want to go, how much money we want to pull from the fund, and let's advocate like that and figure out how we can use that money and pull from that. And I know we spoke about giving events or something in the community for people who have advocated for in a while.
I don't know how, I'm not well connected to the social services sections of Onondaga County. But it seems there is a growing homeless population, which is, I don't know the correct word, but a lot of the homelessness is somewhat connected to addictions, whether it be drug or alcohol related. So the cannabis money available to help homelessness.
So
It would not, based on the way that the law is written.
Yeah.
It would not be.
See, I don't know enough.
It is to address communities, as she stated, those who have been directly impacted and or the after effects of the war on drugs, the crises, and to uplift those who have been disenfranchised and who are not connected because of I just say hypothetically, we said we do a creative arts program for youth to develop a theater presentation to go around to the high schools to talk about the issues of drugs, something to that effect. You know, it has to go directly to addressing the community and or those persons that were impacted.
yes, that's what it was supposed to go to. But like we said, it's just sitting. I just also want to state that, you know, a lot of our homelessness is dealing with our mental illness as well. Mental illness comes from those kind of laws that disenfranchise people, lack of housing, lack of being able to provide. Because I know a lot of homeless people, and you know, many of them that I know are not on drugs, but they're dealing a lot with mental illness too. So I just wanted to make sure we understood that too. It's not just drugs.
There's.
But we can always, you know, I can't promise anything. As you know, I am in the minority, but we can always act.
Yeah, you recall about how much it was?
No, I can't recall, so don't make me tell stories. I do have it down in notes. The number had changed a couple of times, and that's why it didn't really resonate to memorize one number. So we still need to have a conversation and make exactly how much is in the county.
Thank you.
Yes.
Be in touch. Okay. We've got a couple of executive session items. Yeah. As well, I'm gonna need a motion to enter executive session. One is a personnel issue and the other is, both are related to personnel. Take a motion from Carrie, a second from Joe, enter executive session, we'll call for the vote, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstain, motion's carried. Great, thank you.
Jason.
Thanks, Jason.